The last video in this series, we started the server-side logic. In this video, we are going to clean up that code and start on the client. Reminder, this is not going to be a serious app, but for better understanding and learning C3. The first thing I should probably do is go ahead and make a separate project for the server and the client. C3 init server, C3 init client. And the only thing I have here I want is in source. So let me just copy source main into server source. So everything is in main. Let's go ahead and just pop this into another file. We'll call it server. We'll change the module. The module can be server. Gonna go ahead and copy all the imports. Then I'm gonna start with the functions. We want to start our server. That's gonna take the host, the port, and the backlog. All right, I'm gonna start by taking all of main and popping it in this server. Now we don't need the port, the host, the port, the backlog. Then we're gonna want a function to go ahead and kind of read the input and process the input and then probably broadcast messages to every client connected. So let's start with those. It's gonna take a TCP socket pointer, it'll be our client. And at some point we wanna process our input and we put that in a list. Then we wanna broadcast. It's gonna take our socket and then probably just the input that we have in the list string, which will be a message. At some point, we're going to want channels and private messages, but for now, we're just broadcasting to every client connected. So this will be our read input, basically. It's going to take from our client socket and put everything into the list. Then for process input, we're just going to echo back for now. We'll worry about processing any input such as commands that a user or client would send to the server to, say, change channel or send a message or leave. And then finally, broadcast. So that's going to be another for each. We're going to have a message, each message from this list, we're going to write to the socket. So we're going to need a pointer or position to know where we're at. All right, so we're going to write on the socket the message from position, which is going to start at 0 in the first time through the while loop, and the message.length. Now, how much ever gets sent, we're going to update that position. So they'll add position sent. So whatever gets sent, if it's not the entire message, we can still send more. But we should go ahead and check if sent is 0. We need to break out because it should be done. And if for whatever reason our position is greater than or equal to message.length, then we also need to break because it's done. If sent is 0, there was nothing sent, so something went wrong, we're going to break. Or if position is greater than or equal to message.length, that means it's actually sent everything. All right, so let's go back into main, and we can leave this for now, I guess. Delete all that, and we can run our host, our port, and we'll do 100 for now. So let's C3C build. Made a mistake. Missed a parentheses. Yeah, it doesn't know, does it? So we got to make that a global. We should be good now. Never know. Of course not. Yeah, back in the main, we need to just panic here. So if we can't start the server, just crash. Build server, let's run that. Yeah, we're going to send a curl. Just hello there on our local host. See what happened. Got nothing. Empty reply. Probably forgot to call it, didn't I? In our forever while loop, I did not even call the function read input. Need the address because we're going to take a pointer. Build, run, send the message again. Yeah, I forgot another part. We read the input, but we didn't do anything. So let's process input. We might be ready to go. We'll find out. Server's running. Let's try that again. Okay, curl received HTTP 0.9 went not allowed. All right, whatever. There, we got everything echoing back out. But we didn't respond to the client, did we? Because curl didn't want to receive that. So we need to set up our client next. So I went ahead and started with our client-side logic. I went ahead and started this, and I realized I forgot that I wasn't recording. So basically, we're going to take in arguments, and we're going to get the host and the port and the message we're going to send to our client. I didn't really do anything here, just kind of set up the function signature. So now we got to convert our string args2 to the port. Uint port is args2.to uint, I believe. But we got to make sure that's okay. If catch error equals port, then IO print. Yeah, we couldn't convert that. That's all good. We can send message, our host, port, and message. Let's go ahead and build and see if we made any errors. Of course I did. Much like our server-side logic, if we can't send the message, we're just going to go ahead and panic and quit. Okay, that works. So localhost 9500, hello. All right, no errors. So with our client side, we need to connect to the server. So that is a TCP socket, TCP connect, I believe. The URL port, I think that's all we need. And much like the server-side logic where we read in, we're going to send with the same way. So I'm going to have a int position equals 0. So while we try, the amount sent equals our socket dot send. Actually, I'm sorry, socket dot write. We're message from position all the way to message dot length. So if sent equals 0, let's break. And also if sent is greater than or equal to message dot length, it should have sent everything. Let's break. Otherwise, we got to update the position. So now we sent, and then we're going to probably eventually get something back from the server. So for now, we're just going to echo back what we get from the server, which was just going to be an echo what we sent. So we're going to make our buffer of 4096. You know what? Let's just go ahead and put that in here now. Const uint buffer size equals 4096. So now we're going to receive on our socket the function read. We're to put the address of our buffer in there. And for now, we're just going to print that out. We cast that to a string. We put our buffer in there, and then from the beginning to how much we received, we'll put that in there. So our server is still running. So let's go ahead and build. Yep, we were supposed to catch that. Actually, I'm going to throw it back. Instead of catching this error here and putting a question here and then catching it, we're going to throw this. So the callee will have to handle that. And in this case, we're just going to crash because it's the only thing we want to do right now is send the message. So if we can't send the message, let's just get out of here. Build, another mistake, all kinds of mistakes today. We're having fun, aren't we? We're learning. It's kind of the point. Pretty sure that's a use size. I need to cast that anyways, I think. I got to cast that to an int for this one. Questionable to use size. So we probably got to just throw that too. We'll handle these errors more elegantly in subsequent videos. So let's just build again. Okay, we're good. We need localhost 9500 hello. And we get hello back, and the server printed out hello. But I think there's one little thing I want to do. Maybe it's not too little. We should go ahead and start putting our thread pool stuff in now. It's sed thread pool. Poo. I want a pool, not poo. So you can look in the GitHub repo. Funny thing is, this whole time I was complaining about not having examples. Guess what's in the GitHub repo? There's resources, examples, and there's a bunch of fun stuff in here. So there's actually a whole bunch of good stuff in here. If we want to set up a thread pool, look, we have it right here. This is how we kind of do it. Instead of just directly calling read input, we're going to need another function. It returns an int. We're going to say handle thread. I think that just takes a void pointer. And we go at pool init with the standard allocator, the core allocator memory, and what was that, like a short size 65536. Now we can handle our thread. And up in here, we're going to need to create our worker pool, basically. It's our thread count. So I guess I should put a thread count somewhere. Good idea, have that. Thread count equals, we'll just start with 100. So if catch, we got to init. Okay, so going to set up everything. So if we set up a thread pool, we're good. Otherwise, we're going to return out of here. Then we go to our while forever loop until we get should quit. We're going to read. Actually, no, we're going to handle. We're going to do worker pool dot push address of our handle thread function. You know what? Since this is a thread, this defer closing this client is probably going to close before we do anything inside the worker pool. So we're going to probably move that to read input. Yeah, for now. That way, once it processes input and broadcasts, for now, it will close the client. Okay, in his handle thread, he takes his arg and casts it to a socket. I'm going to call it, we want a pointer. And that's TCP socket args, I believe. And then I'm going to read inputs on our clients. And then this is expecting something. It's an int. Let's build and see what errors we got. Oh, first time today. And then run. Okay. And let's try to send to our server again. Great. Works as expected. All right, we're making some progress on this chat application. In our next videos, we are going to want to probably start parsing input, thinking about commands a user might send, maybe set up channels or chat rooms and the ability to send private messages. And of course, we're going to have some kind of ID or something for the user so they know who they are with all the chat. And then finally, we're going to probably have some kind of simple graphical user interface. Awesome. Way to level up by doing. The code will be hosted on GitLab. Link will be in the description. And thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment to defeat that algo monster.